This is an introduction to the Helmtone Healing Drum Protocols. We've been using it for over 30 years, teaching it, certification programs, and it works for a lot of different situations. I'll break down some of the basic elements that differentiate this from conventional drumming. First of all, the low note in the middle is your beginning note. In jazz, they're going to call that the downbeat. Rhythm and blues, soul music, that's the downbeat. It's the one. It makes everybody comfortable because they know where it is. So what we're doing here is creating a sense of safety in the body. Now this downbeat is just a single note right in the middle of the drum head. There's no hard and fast rules here, but this is what we're going to start with. Now you see how my hand's coming up off of the head quickly. We want to get that tone. That tone is a resonating frequency that's sympathetic with the heart. Most importantly, of course, is tempo. So this is a pretty brisk tempo for healing drum therapy. It's a place to start. Because what happens with the system becomes entrained and focused on the tempo with the downbeat and the tambourine. That's always very important too. It starts to respond to the tempo. And by slowing down the tempo, laying it back, which was what the old rhythm and blues guys would call this, you lay it back, you slow down the tempo, the whole system calms down. This was an amazing discovery. Over 30 years ago, applying it to therapy drumming, which did not exist at that time. From my experience as a rhythm and blues drummer, it's like, oh yeah, jazz. Laying it back in the pocket was always been my advice to me by whoever I was playing with or whatever. It's like, lay it back, don't push. And what that does is it gives a signal to the psychology of the person who's experiencing the rhythm, as well as the drummer, to slow down the system. So it's a way to non-intellectually control the sense of urgency and anxiety. Now most people here, they don't want to slow down. So this is a way to entrain the system to slow down. It follows the beat. So this would be the first thing to really focus on. Now you see that my accessories are part of the orchestra. We've designed these stands, right, to alleviate any kind of tension on the hips. Tambourine, that's, substitute for a hi-hat on a drum set. But it gives us a high frequency that the intellect can lock onto and feel safe that it's in sync with the basic pulse. And again, the low tone, the downbeat in the middle, on the one, on the beginning of a phrase, that's going to speak to our heart. It's going to open up the heart chakra, especially with a djembe. The large size djembe like this is not tuned uptight like the way traditional djembes are. This is tuned much looser, which is make it easier for people to find that deep note. Come up quickly and hover. And then there's some high notes out at the edge, but not too much velocity. This is really not about drumming. It's about creating a groove that is a healing sensation for the mind and the body. It's allowing the wisdom of the body to dictate the emotion and the feeling of safety. So here now we've settled down and we're comfortable with this tempo. So if we go slower, if we lay it back even more, we go into an area that's probably easily described as the unconscious or the subconscious. And generally we don't go there. If we do, we don't stay there very long, because it's got a lot of things that are questions that are unanswered. Our psychology is there, the structure of our belief system, which is rhythm. Our belief system is based on rhythm. So we can go into the belief system and rework a belief. I am not a victim. How about that? I am not a victim. 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 And constantly releasing tempo. I am not a victim. Just let it all go. I am not a victim. I am not a victim. So now we're in a very suggestible state of mind. I am not a victim. A few more. I am not a victim. Two more. I am not a victim. Okay. Last one. Send it home. I am not a victim. So that sinks into the unconscious and becomes a mantra. And people will say, oh, it's a negative, you can't do that. This is like computer programming. It's not really affirmative in that conventional sense. And a computer can take a negative. So you're in there, you're rhythmically reprogramming. But it starts with that downbeat, and it starts with tempo. You know, most people, we're all the way up here. But we got to get all the way down to here. And all it is slowing down. But the current state of mind won't let us slow down. So we have to do it ourselves and train our own system, our own intellect, to slow down. And of course, then what happens when you slow down is that the unconscious opens up and it speaks. So while you're safe in your groove, while the groove is carrying your consciousness along, you can examine some of these issues that you've grown up with. But stay on the groove, and don't let, and if it speeds up, then you know you've hit something very sensitive. But you got to slow back down to smooth out that emotional roadblock. And then when you're done, you're done. Just sit there and soak it up. I think it's a good idea in a group to do what we call the big ending. Oh, all right, there you go.